The Warren Central Lady Dragons have really turned things up in the last couple of weeks.
They're winners of 6 of their last 8 games and are now 11-9 on the season. Joining us now on the show is their head coach, Chris Stunson. Coach, thank you for joining us today.
Good to see you, Coach.
Thanks for having
me. And another guy, I believe, is the first time we've had him on the show. So that's, I think, 2 weeks in a row we got.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he told me. I don't think he was
lying to me. That's a terrible thing. We should have had him on sooner.
Well, Coach, talk to us about, like we said, you guys have really been playing well, hitting your stride as of late. Winners of 6 of your last 8 games. We know probably didn't start the way you wanted to, but talk about how the team has played lately.
Lately, the team has really focused on doing all the things that they've been taught for the last couple of years. And part of it was the kids learning how to win. We lost a lot of close games early, and now we're getting to the point where we're getting over the hump in some of those games. You think early we lost several games by 2 and 4 points, and recently we've been able to do the things and execute down the stretch in order to win games.
You know, Coach, you kind of answered my question because you started off 2-5, and now you've gone, I think, 8-3 or 9-4. You've really turned it around, but it's a true testament to your team not to give up, you know, after kind of starting off slow this season. And, you know, what is it about what they have been doing the last few weeks that have, is it just closing out games or putting the ball in the basket, or what has it been?
It's been a combination of a little of both. Putting the ball in the basket, it's something we do struggle with at times, but at the same time, our defense is usually strong enough to keep us in some of those games. Early the games were close because of our defense would keep us there. Now we're hitting a few more shots, and we're actually getting a lot of scoring from our defense. Recently, we've had a lot of leadership. Tiara stepped up and began to lead us the way we know she can, and then a lot of our underclassmen are also stepping up.
When you lose games early on that are close, like you said, can you, as a coach, what kind of positive can you take out of it? Can you look at it like, well, we've gotten that experience of maybe being in a close game. Now that when we get in a close game, hopefully we get the ball to bounce our ways a couple times and we'll know how to handle that sort of adversity?
That's what it took. I really think it took us going on the road in a couple of the tournaments and winning some close games. Once we won a few of the close games, it was kind of a natural cause, and there wasn't the nervousness at the end of the game. When you think back to the Vernon and Russell game, those games actually came down to the last possession. And when you win, when we come around to the point where we can execute in the final minutes or we can execute early to where it's not a close game, that really helps our girls with confidence.
Coach, you know, we have just a couple weeks left, and you've got 3 district games left on your schedule. And you're right now where you're at, you could actually change your fate as far as, you know, where you're going to be seated in the 14th district. You know, how important, you know, obviously with Bowling Green, Greenwood, and who else do you have? Warren East coming up. Just talk about those 3 games because, you know, you're going to turn right back around and be in a 14th district with these people.
When we look at the district this year, the 1, 2, and 3 games are going to be competitive regardless. Yeah. When you look at it, we're looking at trying to play, get away to either be the first seed. The first seed would be the best option because we would get to play the 4 or 5. But the 2 games are going to be very competitive. We're going to be looking at either playing Greenwood or most likely Bowling Green, and if you get the 2, 3 seeds. So those games are going to be competitive. So we're going to have to be ready to play in either one of those games.
You talked about your team sometimes struggles to score the basketball. When that happens, how important does the defense become to maybe try to create some offense, whether it be steals on fast breaks or just stopping the other team from getting a bigger and bigger lead?
It becomes very crucial. You know, we do keep up with some stats on the defensive end, steals and deflections. And when it comes down to the games where we're struggling, you know, the other night at South Warren, we were struggling on the offensive end. But at the same time, we were dominating on the offensive boards and getting extra chances. And that's something that Angel Hill's doing really well right now. I think she had 9 to 10 offensive rebounds last game. So offensive rebounding, when we're missing shots and then getting deflections and steals and turning those into easy baskets versus having to set up against the defense really help us out.
You know, Coach, you've already surpassed your total win record from last season, and things really have improved for Warren Central Lady Dragons. You know, I had an opportunity to see you play twice this year, and it seems like there's really good ball movement, and the girls are where they need to be, and you know, they had some good looks at the basket. How much have you guys worked on that part of your game as far as just kind of being where you need to be, rotating that ball, getting it to the open person?
It was mainly about this past off season. We did so much skill work. Work with scoring the ball off the dribble, with catching it off the bounce, you know, making sure we're moving the basketball. And then early in the season, it was about us taking all the things that we did with skill work and then applying them to the floor. Early in the year, you know, the first couple of practices, I told the girls, you know, you spent all last season learning everything I'm going to teach you. Now we just got to tweak it and hone it and make sure that we're all doing it. And that was part of the struggle early, was us trying to put all the little pieces that we worked on and put them together. And I think finally we're getting to the point where we're stringing everything together and we're starting to play well at the right time.
When you're part of a program that has a a boys program like they have had in the past couple of years and a team that plays well constantly, does it add maybe any more pressure on your guys' end to say we don't want people to just look at Warren Central as a boys basketball program, but also we've got a pretty good girls team too?
We would love for the public to look at us as a prominent program also, but at the same time, when you have a program like that, you can learn from them every day. That's something that I often try to do. I'll stay and watch the boys and see some things that they're doing and try to implement some of those. And even after the loss to Greenwood, Coach Riley came in to watch his sons play, and I saw him over there, and the first thing I did, went over and sat with him, and I said, Coach, you're listed on the radio. What could I have done differently there at the end to help our team win? When you have a program like that, learn from them.
It's very exciting in the 14th District because there are opportunities for you guys to move on and get into that 4th region tournament. How exciting would it be for your program to get there?
It'd be very exciting, and that's been a goal for us as coaches, and I think the girls are finally coming to the point to realize that, hey, yes, we can make it to the regional tournament. We can compete with all these teams in the district. But I think that if we can get that done this year, it'll really help to continue the improvement of the program.
What do you the message of the girls these last couple of games, trying to solidify your seat in the district tournament? Does the message stay the same? Is it you really try to hammer home key points? We really need to be playing our best as the regular season winds down?
We try to keep it as relaxed as possible with our girls. A lot of the times we just really worry about what we are going to do. I think Coach John Wooden is one of the coaches that really always focused on what his team was going to do versus what the other teams are going to do. So we try to keep it very, very relaxed before the games. We joke and play around with them, and we do things like that to keep the pressure off of them and let them know that it's just another game. You go out and you do the things you've been taught, we'll be okay.
Well, no question, Coach. And you've got a lot of seniors to work with this year, too. I mean, that's got to help the program as well.
Yes, having a lot of seniors does help. We do have the experience. Looking at our senior class, many of them have been playing since their sophomore and junior year. So they do have a lot of experience, and we do lean on them. We lean on them in practice. We lean on them to be leaders on the floor and try to teach our young girls and train them in the way that they should be going when they become seniors so they can be leaders.
All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate you stopping by today.
All right.
First time.
Thank
Excellent
you,
job.
Stay
Stay tuned.
Thank
Time for a quick break, but you're watching the Sports Connection on WBKO.